Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. The whole thing, like the back and forth at the press conference, the angrier Ben was getting. Eddie Hearn kind of, it's a weird one because Eddie Hearn came out afterwards and said, oh, this is terrible. It's assault. I would have told Conor Benn not to do it. Would you fuck, Eddie? Would you fuck, mate? You would have loved it. And you would have, just like Ben Shalom, you would have said you had no idea it was going to happen. I'm almost certain of that because it's a promoter's dream, which is exactly what Peter Fury called it when I interviewed him last week. The fight as a whole, it is a promoter's dream. The egg thing. Everyone's been making the jokes online for ages, the puns, just as we have obviously today. And then you got Eubank Jr. not only emulating that, but taking it to another level by actually whacking him on the side of the bonds with an egg. And then Eddie saying he would have told, no, he wouldn't. If there was something similar, I don't know, what would he have hit Eubank with, given the past? A microwave? He'd sign a microwave sometime. I don't know how he would have concealed that, to be fair. But yeah, anything like that would have been hilarious. And if I thought that Ben should have played it up a lot more than he did. I thought he should have done something like a stunt at the second press conference, but not something similar. Like either come to the second press conference dressed as like a life-size egg. Well, not a life-size egg because that would have been tiny, but a Ben-sized egg, I guess. Or come in like bandaged up and like with plasters on his face and stuff, as if the egg had done him some serious damage. Like, be self-deprecating, make fun of yourself, but at the same time, take the piss out of your rival. Don't act like it's made you that angry because it is a bit of fun and it's just making you look a bit silly. So make him look silly in return. And people are already quite interested in the fight. I think this has ramped it up a level, which is what makes it a promoter's dream. And what is it? They said 150,000 were on the waiting list for the pre-sale, and that was just Tottenham Hotspur fans, like Tottenham members. Eddie said it's going to be the biggest fight in British boxing history. I'm not going to quite go with that yet. He is a promoter after all, but it's going to be massive. And I wasn't that interested in the fight. I've got to be honest. That first press conference completely turned it around for me, and I feel a bit bad on myself for saying that because I'm 43 years old and I've been around boxing for nearly 20 years. I'm not, impressionable per se, but yeah, it's just completely changed it round. And I'm really looking forward to the fight now, but more so, I'm looking forward to what we've got left of the build-up because I think there's still more twists and turns to come.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And it was interesting because we discussed on Seconds Out Live as well, weeks prior, maybe even the prior week before, like how is this fight going to be sold? And is it going to be ducked or
Eggs.
dodged, or is Eubank Jr. going to be silenced in discussing about the past? And he wasn't. He's absolutely happy to run his mouth about everything, how he feels unjustly done by, how he feels that he was going to be in the ring against someone who was having an unfair advantage. That's what he was happy to discuss. He was happy to throw barbs at Eddie, and he was happy to, to strike Conor Benn with an egg. It's all kind of lent up to what's going to be a brilliant build up between the two of them. Whether the fight delivers is another thing. You feel like the fight still will deliver, but we don't know what. There's one burning question, and I'm going to give it away. I usually don't give away questions, but there is one burning question, but it's pivotal to how the fight will go, and that is this: when is the check weight on the
Mm.
Saturday? Because if it's a morning check weight, it's manageable. If it's in the dressing room, it's a big problem and might sway the fight
I
towards.
assume it's in the morning because the IBF checkways were always in the morning, and that's what this clause is most similar to.
Sure,
But no one's confirmed that. Like when Peter Fury asked me, and I said I think it's in the morning, and he said if it is, it will make no difference
but
because Eubank will already have been able to put on 10 pounds, and then he'll have the rest of the day to eat as normal.
Eddie's been stressing like it's not what the IBF is. It's what you negotiate, and they've negotiated and agreed to take on this contract, this rehydration clause. So, and the other part of that is as well too. Sure, there is a 170 rehydration clause on the day, whether it be in the morning or the dressing room. But is Eubank Jr. going to adhere to that? What's the penalties if he doesn't adhere to it? These are all things that are up in the air up until the two get in the ring. So it all makes for a real melting pot of excitement.
A real melting pot, a real frying pan, you might say. Stephen says, Stephen Butterworth, of course, who's not currently a full-time or, well, any sort of member of Seconds Out, says, afternoon, everyone. We at Seconds Out don't live by the egg, but we all appreciated Conor Egg getting himself fried last week. Game changed. Porter's admitting he missed last week's show. I'm disappointed in you. I can't lie. Eric Harris, all in caps. I don't know if he's angry or happy. Says, I like both guys. It's entertainment. Glad Ben didn't get in his eye. Just his face. Sorry, couldn't resist. Sorry, had to do that voice, Eric. You've got to calm down on the caps lock. Porter says, Ben has lost his head before the fight. He has zero power without the PEDs. We don't endorse that comment. Ben has been cleared, quote unquote, by both the WBC and the National Anti-Doping Panel, as he was quick to point out at the press conference. Thunder Road says, wow, I struck a nerve, but it's your live, so I must respect that, although I now feel like Chris Eubank in the presser with Eddie. Sorry, Thunder Road, I wouldn't let you talk at all if you were like Eddie in that presser. Oh, no, you feel like Chris Eubank in the presser. Okay, well, that's a different dynamic. But yeah, all you've got to do is encourage people to like. I mean, the views have gone up since I last asked you, so maybe maybe you're working your magic behind the scenes. Stephen goes on, Eubank absolutely rattled Eddie Hearn and controlled that Eddie the ego. Porter says, do you think Donovan was robbed at the weekend? Crocker was getting battered every round. That's in segment number 4. So if you hang around with us, Porter, you will find out our opinion on that. DB Cooper 1 says, I doubt Eubank owes Neymar £4 million for poker. They're mates. Neymar is filthy rich. I do, however, 100% believe Ben owes Hearn money. His lifestyle expenses don't match the fights purses he's had and £1 million lawyers. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. There could be a case of promoters, paying either temporarily or permanently for expenses based on the fact that they're going to get a percentage of the future earnings that Ben generates. It's not like Matchroom are going to go poor on what they're going to make from this fight in April. David Hyde suggests that Conor Benn should have come to the second press address like Humpty Dumpty, maybe. I said on X that he should have maybe come as a chicken and settled the lifelong debate, what came first, the chicken or the egg. But he didn't. He didn't listen to my advice, unfortunately. DB Cooper 1 says, I bet they've still got 20k tickets they've not yet released, but they'll slowly release on Ticketmaster. Entire blocks suddenly become available. They always oversell, hype the sales figures. Well, it's just promotion, isn't it? I'm not going to criticize them for that. Craig the Monkman says the Croc, as in Lewis Crocker, was taking a real beating. We will get to that. Stephen says, Danny Flexen speaks for everyone. Eubank has completely sold the fight. Eddie Hearn and Conor Egg should be grateful. To be fair, it was Conor that sold the egg shot, though, wasn't it? If he'd have just stood there, wipes it off, or, immediately lashed Eubank with a left hook counter, maybe it wouldn't have worked so well. But, he really let it sink in and drip down. And I think that's what sold it. The close-ups of his angry expression afterwards as well. He's done his bit, whether intentionally or otherwise. Craig the Monkman, the prices for the fight are ridiculous too. Say they've never won anything between them. It doesn't matter. I hate to say this, and I've said it before. It really doesn't matter. Ben's never won a British title. He's never beaten the top domestic names at welterweight. Doesn't matter. Eubank Jr. has fallen short every time he stepped up into top class. No offense to Liam Smith, of course. But the Liam Smith when he was a world champion might have been a different story. But yeah, doesn't matter. They've got the rivalry. Fans are gripped on it. They've bought into it. They've invested in it, which is the most important thing. Doesn't matter if there's titles on the line. Doesn't matter who they've beaten in the past. This is a storyline that people are gripped by. Either get on the ride that Eubank and Ben are about to take you on, or jump off and don't watch it, to paraphrase The Rock. Breaking